Alright guys, I hope you're all doing great, and in today's video we are gonna talk about what I feel are truly the most interesting and exciting FPS games coming in 2021. Probably one of the worst year of recent times is coming to an end very soon, and since the many delays of upcoming games certainly didn't help 2020, well 2021 is now looking as exciting as ever, fortunately. Pretty much all the big games are coming, so I feel today would be the perfect time to make a video on it. Before we start, as always, make sure you guys drop a like on this video to please the algorithm gods, and let's go right away. First off, we have one of my most anticipated game of 2021 right here, which is an upcoming brutal FPS fighting game from the creators of the Darktide series, so you already know it's gonna be good. These developers never mess around when it comes to creating unforgiving combat that has a lot of weight to it, with every melee and shooting weapons, and also for the game's atmosphere, where every levels are well crafted and somehow always gets darker. Fight together with your friends against hordes of enemies in this new Warhammer experience with Warhammer 40k Darktide. In the depths of the hive, the seeds of corruption threaten an overwhelming tide of darkness. A heretical cult known as the Admonition seeks to seize control of the planet Atoma Prime and lay waste to its inhabitants. It is up to you and your allies in the Inquisition to root out the enemy before the city succumbs to chaos. Stem the overwhelming tides of enemies alongside up to 3 friends in this harrowing co-op experience. Team composition and collaboration are critical and will determine whether or not you secure victory for the God Emperor. You'll also be available to customize everything from weapons to other things in your loadout like armor. Next up, we have No More Room in Hell 2, the long-awaited sequel to one of the most like zombie FPS game out there. For those that don't know, the first game released in 2011 and has been extremely well received on PC. Now its sequel is coming and is bringing back the hardcore survival that people loved. Even though it looks kind of similar to Left 4 Dead, No More Room in Hell brings a much harder difficulty to surviving in a post-apocalyptic world, where every bullet, every movement, pretty much everything counts. Join together with 7 other survivors, which can be online players, as you attempt rescue in a world ravaged by disease and zombies. Survival is not guaranteed. Maps where locations, objectives, and item spawns are randomized, meaning you'll need to explore large open world spaces in search for scarce resources, weapons, ammo, and ways to signal rescue. Every encounter with zombies puts you at risk for infection and death, where your zombified corpse can make quick meals out of former allies. Zombies can also hear and smell everything, so you'll need to be extremely careful of everything. Next up, we have Bright Memory Infinite. Bright Memory Infinite is an upcoming kind of time travel FPS game that is being created by one single person. All of the elements you see in this gameplay is being created by one person, which is absolutely crazy, and it needed to be on this list. Bright Memory Infinite is set in a sprawling, futuristic metropolis in the year 2036. A strange phenomenon for which scientists can find no explanation has occurred in the skies around the world. The Supernatural Science Research Organization has sent agents out to various regions to investigate this phenomenon. It is soon discovered that these strange occurrences are connected to an archaic mystery and as of yet unknown history of 2 worlds about to come to light. You'll be able to use many different weapons as well as melee weapons, which will all offer unique combos and attacks. I'm super excited for this project. Next up, we have Perfect Dark, a long-awaited announcement for a lot of people. Perfect Dark has been officially revived and will be a massively ambitious FPS spy game, which has the famous return of Joanna Dark. The developers are committed to keeping elements that made the previous Perfect Dark game special, with the inclusion of inventive gadgets, which were forward-thinking for their time. The game is being made by a newly founded Santa Monica studio called The Initiative, which is made up of staff from the likes of Bungie, Naughty Dog, Crystal Dynamics, Respawn, Rockstar, Treyarch, and much more, which is a pretty impressive team of developers. While this new Perfect Dark will reshape the series and its characters for modern day players, key members of the development team have spoken in an interview about how they have to treat the IP very carefully and how tricky it is to pay tribute to past games, but not go too far. That is all we know from it, but be assured when we have more, I will be covering it.
You were looking for Agent Dark?
Not yet. This is just the beginning.
Next up, we have Back 4 Blood, the ultimate spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. It is being made by the creators of Left 4 Dead, Turtle Rock Studios, and is 100% intended to serve as the sequel we never had from Left 4 Dead. I'm absolutely loving how it looks. Back 4 Blood is a thrilling cooperative first-person shooter. You are at the center of a war against the Ridden. These once human hosts of a deadly parasite have turned into terrifying creatures bent on devouring what remains of civilization. With humanity's extinction on the line, it is up to you and your friends to take the fight to the enemy, eradicate the Ridden, and reclaim the world. You'll be able to fight your way through a dynamic, perilous world in a 4-player co-op story campaign, where you must work together to survive increasingly challenging missions. Play online or in single player with bots. There's also gonna be a PvP mode. Play with or against friends, where you can become a cleaner, one of the immune survivors with special perks, or switch sides and play as the horrific Ridden. Both sides comes with unique weapons, abilities, and specialties. I am really hyped for this project and cannot wait to play it. Next up, we have Witchfire. This game has been announced more than 3 years ago in 2017 and still hasn't released yet, but we do know for sure it is in active development as we speak. The developers just want this project to be as perfect as possible without showing true gameplay until it is finally ready to be shown. But from its teaser and some tiny footage here and there, man does this game look great. The astronauts are going for a very dark, very gritty vibe with this action title. There's definitely a bit more than a touch of Dark Souls in the game's visuals and overall design aesthetics. Players will be able to combat the numerous evils that plagues these digital lands, with a combination of firearms and magic. As a deadly instrument of the church, you are tasked with eradicating witches from the land while discovering what is really happening in this world. Doing so will not nearly be as easy as it sounds, as Witchfire is not actually a narrative-driven game. Instead, you must often discover your own answers in this open-ended title. That's true nature hasn't yet been revealed by the development team. You'll also be able to enjoy many stunning vistas and jaw-dropping enemies as you make your way through this strange world. I'm really liking how unique this all looks. Excited for it. Next up, we have Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 has no teaser, no trailer, and no gameplay, but we do know it is coming in fall 2021, as well as some little information here and there that is definitely exciting to read. On the company's latest earnings calls, the EA CEO Andrew Wilson gave a few details on some of the company's plans for 2021 and beyond. According to Wilson, the next Battlefield game is already in the works at DICE and features never before seen scale. Wilson added that the next generation consoles are giving the studio the opportunity to actualize their next-gen vision for the series, with much more players than before and maps that can look like an actual open world, which would be absolutely crazy to see. One leak from an industry insider also said Battlefield 6 is not what most fans of the series would like it to be, but it plays very well. Does this mean it won't be taking place during modern times? As of now, most people think Battlefield 6 will take place in modern times, but it could definitely be something completely different. Some of the craziest theory out there are that Battlefield 6 will be a time-traveling game, where you can wage war during different times, but we will have to wait and see for that. Next up, we have Crossfire X Campaign, created by Remedy, who worked on Control and Alan Wake. In the trailer, you are given a look at the key characters in Operation Spectre. Told from the perspective of Blacklist, one of the two warring mercenary factions players will meet in both campaigns campaign and multiplayer. Operation Spectre is set in locations such as Asia and South America and introduces players to characters while exploring the backstory of the Blacklist Global Risk conflict. The Crossfire X Campaign will be available in a premium battle pass at launch, in addition to a variety of modes in the free-to-play multiplayer experience, that is Crossfire X. I'm not really interested in the multiplayer at all, but seeing its campaign is made by Remedy and just how good this looks, I'm definitely trying this one out. The graphics, animations, weapons, and everything look really good. Next up, we have Shadow Warrior 3. The fallen culprit Shogun Lo Wang and his former employer turned nemesis turned sidekick Orochi Zilla embark on an improbable mission to recapture an ancient dragon they unwillingly unleashed from its eternal prison. Armed with a punishing mix of blades and bullets, Lo Wang must traverse uncharted parts of the world to track down the Dark Beast and push the apocalypse back yet again. All it will take is the mask of a dead god, a dragon's egg, a touch of magic, and enough firepower to hold off the impending cataclysm. You'll be able to conduct a symphony of death with each encounter by mixing overwhelming firepower with devastatingly precise katana strikes as you dash in and around the demonic hordes. Flow between nimble movement techniques, including air dashes, wall running, double jumps, and the fancy new grappling hook that bust your combat and movement options wide open in every battle. Next up, we have Boundary. Boundary is a multiplayer tactical space-based shooter that puts player in the role of a heavily armed astronaut called an Astro Parader, engaging in fierce team versus team zero-gravity firefights and executing low-gravity operations on orbiting space installations against other enemy Astro Paraders and other entities. Powered by your Emu suit, you can now navigate the harsh atmosphere of space and orbiting installations in order to engage enemy combatants in a three-dimensional battlefield where threats come at you from all angles. This is astronaut combat more akin to dogfighting, where your angle of attack and precision can make all the difference. You can personalize your protective spacesuit and your arsenal of modified weaponry. Be a keen-eyed sharpshooter executing long-range kills from afar, or getting close and personal as an assaulter, taking the fight forward. You can modify and upgrade your chosen primary weapon from a selection of stocks, grips, scopes, barrels, and ammo types to coordinate with your playstyle and create a weapon and class appearance unique to you. Next up, we have Evil West. Evil West is a truly unexpected announcement from developers Flying Wild Hog. Flying Wild Hog is mostly known for their reboot of the FPS Shadow Warrior series, which has received really good reviews overall. Evil West looks to bring the bombastic and fast-paced FPS action that series is known for to an entirely new IP. A dark menace consumes the American frontier. As one of the last agents in a top-secret vampire hunting institute, you are the final line between humanity and a deep-rooted terror that now emerges from the shadows. Evil West will task you with fighting a variety of bloodthirsty monstrosities in brutal and visceral combat, either by yourself or with a friend in co-op. It includes a narrative-driven campaign, providing an engrossing story while you slay monsters and upgrade your weapons and abilities to defend the Old West. The player will also get to utilize a lightning-fueled gauntlet to wreak havoc on enemies. Let me know if you're excited for this. Finally, we have 83. This is a game I've been highly anticipating for so long, and it's coming from the creators of Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. 83 is a Cold War gone hot, combined arms first-person military shooter for high player counts. Definitely 80+ people, currently in development at Antimatter Games. The game pits two large platoons of players against each other in massive maps, fighting over a number of objectives that have a tangible impact on the battle as a whole, when held by the victorious faction. Players will have access to a selection of real-world infantry weapons and equipments, as well as a selection of powerful land and air vehicles, which can decisively turn the tide of a battle. I feel the newly released Black Ops Cold War did not go truly in depth with the weapons, the atmosphere, and so on, especially in multiplayer, and I feel 83 might be here to change that. It will also be more hardcore than games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, which I'm definitely okay with. Alright guys, make sure you comment which game you are the most excited for in the comments below, and of course drop a like to support the channel. Also subscribe to stay tuned, and talk to you guys soon. Thanks to Space Beer Gaming, Rush Shingbati, I Am Legend, Diamond Hunter 45, Themistocles, Rickno23, and Kianzo Fagari for being a master member on the channel. channel. You can become a Survivor member for as low as 99 cents a month. It'll help me and the channel as a whole to make more and better videos.